in recent days from across the east of the country. Meanwhile, the humanitarian crisis caused by the conflict is growing. 180,000 people have fled the country, and thousands more are waiting to escape with little hope of adequate assistance. US President Barack Obama has called on Gaddafi to step down immediately, but while he said all options are on the table, Obama would not commit to enforcing a no-fly zone. He also expressed concern that the fighting in Libya could turn into a prolonged stalemate. Elsewhere in the Arab world, tens of thousands of people are preparing to rally on Friday. These are live pictures now from Cairo. Egypt's new Prime Minister Essam Sharaf, who takes over from the unpopular Ahmed Shafiq, is expected to join protesters already gathered in Tahrir Square. So live pictures there from Tahrir Square. In Tunisia, celebrations broke out on the streets of the capital Tunis following the announcement that interim President Fouad Mebaza has called elections for July the 24th. The vote will elect a group to rewrite the constitution, but that means Mebaza will remain in power beyond his March 15th deadline. And some breaking news from northwestern Pakistan, where 5 people have been killed and 20 wounded in a blast near a mosque in Nowshera district. Officials warn that the death toll could rise because the explosion happened when the mosque was crowded for midday prayers. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has defended Bradley Manning, the soldier accused of leaking thousands of classified US government documents. Assange says the US is using Manning as an example. Assange is appealing against his extradition from Britain to Sweden over sex crime accusations. He also denied that WikiLeaks is anti-American. Well, those were the headlines. The news continues here on AlJazeera after 101 East. Before we go, though, quick reminder, you can keep up to date with all the news on our website. There it is on your screen. The address, of course, aljazeera.net/English.
Has long been proud of its diverse ethnicity, cultures and spiritual beliefs. But recent attacks against minority groups like the Ahmadiyya sect and on Christian churches have many claiming that religious intolerance is on the rise here. I'm Fauzia Ibrahim. On this edition of 101 East, we ask just what does religious freedom mean in multicultural Indonesia?
Outnumbered, police stand by as a mob attacks homes in Banten, West Java, Indonesia. They belong to Ahmadiyya, a sect who say they are Muslims, but who believe their founder was the final prophet rather than Muhammad. It's a belief that's deeply offensive to the vast majority of Indonesia's 209 million Muslims. But this amateur video showing the crowd stripping 3 Ahmadiyya men naked, stoning and beating them to death has shocked the nation. It is too gruesome to show here. The number of attacks against religious minorities in Indonesia has surged in the last year. As a result, Ahmadiyya followers in Lombok are to be forcibly moved to this almost deserted island nearby. A move the provincial government say is for their own safety. For Kai Rudin, it's the first time he's seen his potential new home.
Menurut saya terutama bagus lah.
I think the island looks comfortable.
Bagus, nyaman juga udara.
The air is fresh and I don't mind living here as long as facilities such as electricity and school is provided and safety as well. I'm excited.
Misalnya Bupati, ini ada sudah di ACC, sudah disetujui.
Every moment is recorded for 200 SEC members back home.
Misalnya sarana perumahan juga sama dengan warga Ahmadiyya.
The island's sole resident, whose job is to guard the palm trees, tells them on camera he's not happy with Ahmadiyya moving here. But these men have no home. In 2006, they were forced to abandon this village in Lombok when a neighbouring community forced them out. When some Ahmadiyya members tried to return late last year, their houses were looted. The movement's regional head says such incidents are rarely investigated.
Ini tidak ada.
Authorities haven't arrested any perpetrators of the attacks, and they don't actively try to solve the case. We had to report to the police station directly to get them to pursue the case. This shows authorities' lack of support and commitment to enforce the law.
Mungkinkah kau masih mengharapkanku?
22 Ahmadiyya families now live in this shelter in Lombok's capital, Mataram. Young and old crammed together in fetid makeshift tents. Khairuddin says many here have been denied citizenship cards, which makes it hard for some children in the shelter to access Indonesia's education and health services.
To be honest, we don't like living here, but since this is a matter of defending our faith and beliefs, then we have to accept the conditions. We are forced to accept it.
The district head acknowledges his idea to move Ahmadiyya followers onto an island 60 kilometres away from Lombok is contentious, but says it's in their best interests.
Kita tidak memberikan solusi menyangkut juga hak asasi.
Perhaps the relocation solution could be seen as a violation of human rights, but for the local government it's a good solution. Why they're being isolated is because characteristically they're keen on an exclusive system of society.
Harmony is a selling point for an island trying to be a tourist mecca like neighbouring Bali. Zaini Aroni says Ahmadiyya's exclusive and elitist approach to their faith triggers suspicion amongst mainstream Muslims.
It's affecting human beings in a harmful way. I do hope the central government would give a firm policy on a national level whether Ahmadiyya is allowed in Indonesia, because the ones who are directly facing the issues are the villagers and local government. This is the problem.
The Indonesian government's Religious Affairs Ministry issued a decree in 2008 banning Ahmadiyya from publicly practicing and spreading their faith. They're reviewing the ban, but Bahrul Hayat, the Religious Affairs Ministry's Secretary-General, has serious misgivings on the Ahmadiyya's exclusivity and says restrictions on marriage trigger social problems.
They have to be more open. There are some restrictions that given by Ahmadis to other Muslim followers, like the use of masjid. All masjid in Indonesia is open for only Muslims. But the marriage system is restriction for only Ahmadis. Ahmadis women only want to be married by Ahmadis men. So this is some problem in terms of social interaction.
500,000 Ahmadiyya followers worship across Indonesia. Their detractors say they could have full religious freedom if they concede they are not true Muslims. But Indonesia's Ahmadiyya leaders maintain they are.
The basic essence of Islamic conversion vows. We practice it in other Islamic teachings. We pray facing the Kaaba.